We win these easy.
But you know what? These are like dog farm moves, aren't they?
Alrighty. So currently, what we're gonna be going into is we're gonna be doing Sivir, Milio, into Samira, Braum. Now, Milio actually has a pretty decent time into Braum because you out shield him and you can Q him whenever he has E up. So he is like whenever you're playing Enchanter into Braum, you should inherently win because you outscale him and he isn't very much of a decent engage. So he's not very hard engaged, so you have a pretty decent time into him and you'll be more useful in team fights overall as long as your team isn't going too crazy. Now I have 2 ADCs on my team, so it's important for me to press W by mid game on the one that's more important. So whoever's more ahead. My goal here is to just make sure to E the Braum Q whenever he throws it at him. Now, Sivir also has Spell Shield, so it's pretty easy to make sure that Braum and Samira never do any damage. Whenever your ADC goes for an auto, always try to auto, or like to shield, to get your passive off as Milio. Similar to Nami E, basically. It has a lot of damage, and it adds up pretty fast. The wave is in a pretty awkward spot for us, so we're gonna just be pushing this. And then we can ping for a ward. Make sure that the jungler can't gank us. I'm going Q because I kind of have just a Sivir that mainly pokes with her abilities and less of her autos. So I can get more value out of my Q, especially since it's lower in mana than my W. Now if you had more of a Lucian lane, like a Lucian Milio lane, then you would prefer taking W into this lane. Don't be scared to also Q the minions, because it will jump all the way to the closest target, or the farthest target away, depending on how you throw your Q out. Yep. So normally for combos as Milio in lane, you always want to try to Q, E yourself, and then run up an auto. So like this, and make sure to just try to sidestep a bit while you're doing it, so then they can't retaliate as much damage and you have an easier time trying to dodge because they're always going to be basically dodging right at you. See, she was a little too far away for me to E, so I'm not going to E myself, and I'm just going to pre-pressing Q and then walking away to make sure Braum can't retaliate any damage on me. Try to always damage the same target. If you can keep your damage on the same target, it's basically going to nullify anything that they can do in lane. Preferably on the ADC, but if it is on the support, that's not bad either. It's just if you and your ADC are hitting one thing, just always make sure to hit that same person if you can. Nice. My Q went too far. No. So Braum's walking up here. He's just trying to block as much damage. Feel free to E your ADC. Make sure that they can get their passive if they decide to auto him. Throw out your Q on the ADC if you can line it up. And they can't play the game. Now we see Ivern bot, so we want to just push in this lane. We can Q the minions. We're gonna ward right here because we know that he's going on his Krugs right now, the Ivern, and we're just gonna chill. Nice, we stopped their reset. Just always keep trying to stop their reset as much as possible. We're gonna hard push this lane and then also look for one. And make sure he doesn't hold the wave. She can auto one time on the turret so then we can get the plate. We actually win this really hard, so I'm gonna ping on my way. We're gonna heal early. We're gonna block his Q. We're gonna hold E a little bit. Nice. So whenever you're playing an enchanter, is try your best to always block the Braum Q from the ADC, because they're always gonna want to basically CC the ADC as much as possible, because your damage, it doesn't really matter. So if you can, block the Braum Q for your ADC, especially if he's melee range like that, to just seal in the trade and make sure that they can't kill. Because that's the kill threat is Braum passive, not really any of his other abilities. So Braum's forced to reset. I'm gonna reset now. Now we can look because Viego. I'm gonna E myself for the movement speed. Shield him out. Nice. There's a chance that she's gonna try to hold the wave. That's not a big deal. He landed on me. Unlucky. We have no mana and we have little HP. Yeah, this is fine. The wave is totally okay. I'm gonna go Vandal Glass. So the reason why enchanters normally opt into Vandal Glass instead of Kindle Gem is a lot of us want extra AP, and the mana regen feels pretty nice. Technically, the proper build is actually to go to Kindle Gem and then do 1 Fairy Charm. That is a better buy, but a lot of us just want to have the extra AP to take advantage of the lane, especially if we're spamming our abilities a bunch. And then I see a lot of Milios recently. They've been building still Helia, Echoes of Helia. I don't think that's very good because of how they changed Echoes of Helia. It doesn't proc on his passive anymore. We have to run. Make sure to flash the Ivern Q if you can. Q back for the slow. E your ADC. Nice. So whenever you see ganks like that, it's important for you to always just be like, okay, where can I Q to basically peel my ADC the safest? I Q'd the Braum, and so you know the Ivern is going to be going for you because you're the closest to him, so hold your finger on your F key and be ready to flash his CC, so then they can't get the kill on you. Because the only way they get a kill on both of you with that gank is if either the Sivir doesn't spell shield the Braum Q and you basically die and get CC'd by that, or you get hit by Ivern Q, which is his CC. I'm here for League of Legends educational moments and how to play. Welcome in, Tanmo. Okay, so Dragon's up. We see Viego wanting to start it after he just pinged it right now. We're gonna ping on our way. I don't have a vision, but that's okay because we have priority mid and bot. We did see our mid laner reset, but with how Ghost, or I forget what it is, the movement speed out of base works now, it's actually decent to take this play because he's gonna be back into mid lane pretty fast. We can look for an engage here. Nice. So the reason why that play worked, even if we didn't stop the Samira ult right away, is because all three of us were hard focusing Samira. And then Viego flash stunned the Samira and she died right away. We had the numbers advantage, so that play works really well for us. I'm gonna auto this one time because we can actually get a plate here because we have a cannon wave. So I didn't even have to stay for the last two autos there because the cannon wave will do enough damage to reach the limit of getting your plate, so then you can start reset beforehand. The ADC didn't want to go for it because they care a little bit too much about their tempo, which is totally fine. I'm gonna go mid lane because we hard push this lane. This wave is just gonna push into them with how we're autoing it. And there is a fight top lane, so if it goes down mid lane, then I'll already be here. Okay, it looks like the fight is completely over. Oh, they're still looking. They do see me on the wave, so they know that I'm here. But I can throw my W right here. Okay, nice. I can go back mid, give him an E, make sure he doesn't miss a minion, and then ward all the way down. I like putting my control ward in this bush right here because it gives a lot of safety vision for my mid laner. As I walk down, I'm gonna push it in the fairy light for safety, and then walk safely over. The reason why I could walk this way instead of the safe way is because I had complete vision with this ward from Braum and Samira, so I know they're not gonna jump me while I'm walking back into lane. I can give her W because she doesn't have any minions to press. Hold my Q here. She had to W it. Yeah, that was a little unlucky. She did not spell shield the Q, and she didn't space properly. So Braum gets a lot of value in that fight. I am here. So he can play this if he wants. I'm gonna use my ult to make sure that he doesn't get CC'd. The really powerful thing about Braum, or about Milio actually, is it gives tenacity when you ult. So even after you basically CC or you Mikhails them with your ult, right? They still have tenacity 5 seconds after your ult is placed on them. So basically it's like a Mikhail plus Merc Treads combo every time you hit ult on your allies. So don't be scared to preemptively use it sometimes, especially if you just need that little extra heal, even if you think they're going to get CC'd after. Because they will have tenacity. A lot of people think Milio is difficult because of his ult, but it's very forgiving. It's a very forgiving ability. So don't overthink it and just use it whenever. Okay, so here we're really pushed up. What I always do is I like to use my oracles on these 3 bushes, because a lot of times if there's a TP, they will try to TP right here. Like the Syndra could have TP'd behind us and then it would have been a play. So I'm gonna W. Ah. No, I got greedy. That's why I died. Whoopsies. But that's okay. Faster reset, guys. I'm gonna go Ionian boots here, and then 2 control words because I have my support item, and then look for redemption now. So I think redemption is really powerful in this current meta because 1, it gives AP. So inherently, even without Moonstone, the healing output is actually quite insane because it gives AP instead of just pure health, and all enchanters scale off of AP. That's why Dark Seal is really powerful in us, but not a lot of people do it. So, and also you can basically be anywhere within like the map. So let's say if I'm bot lane and I have redemption, I can actually just redemption my Yasuo right now if he's taking a mid lane trade and make sure he wins it. Dragon's up, we're pushing bot lane. Whenever there's like a bot lane objective and you see your jungler here, always try to push your lanes out to get priority, so then we can look for this objective. Here, I'm just hovering towards the river, but I'm also not going to Viego because my Sivir is still in lane. So I want to just kind of hover between them just in case she gets engaged on, to just make sure both of them are safe. And I can just go to either one of them that needs help. We can actually play this out completely. We're going to use ult preemptively to make sure to un-CC. Yeah, they have 4 people. Unlucky. Unlucky, unlucky. The Syndra, I'm pretty sure TP'd. Yeah, Syndra TP, and they used all their ults. Another control word. This is totally fine. They sent so many people bot lane, right? That we actually were able to get mid turret. So even if we did technically die, which isn't the greatest, we still got something out of it. So now mid lane is completely open. They do get bot turret, but we can look for Rift Herald because they're still all bot side and they're overplaying. I'm gonna walk up top lane. Damn, couldn't help. Unlucky. I can actually stop her reset with my Q. No E. So my Viego can actually just fully go on that if he wants, because there is no CC from the Syndra. It should be back up now though. We're gonna use the blue Farlight. Get some vision, see where they're all placed. So the reason why I positioned right here is because I know that Braum is walking through this jungle, so if he walks up and he goes to ward this bush, I want to be able to Q him, so then he's forced to back up, because he doesn't know that Viego is right, or he's going to assume that Viego is directly behind me, so I can get basically the sense of vision over him. They're sending everyone bot, including Varus TP. We're gonna walk this way. I'm gonna give him W. That's gonna heal him up a bit. Nice. Now, I currently, whenever you're putting down vision, right? You always want to end up with 2 wards. So you get 4. And whenever you're putting like a line vision, you want to use only 2 wards, and then you hold the other 2 for whatever side your strongest member is playing towards. So I have a little bit of vision here because I put it where I like right here and right here for Rift Herald. I'm holding my other 2 wards so I can stay on the map and not have to reset, just in case I want to put some preemptive vision down once Viego's done clearing his bot side. So here, he's just going through mid because he has Rift Herald. Once this plays over, we're probably going to move bot, and then we can get some vision. You can also ping your jungler, ask him for assistance. Always make sure to Q the bushes before walking in, because it is a little scary. Okay, so he just went for that. We're gonna put that right here so it's out of vision. And then we're gonna walk bot, help out my jungler. Unlucky. We're gonna have to flash this. We're gonna heal for the movement speed. And he CC'd. Unlucky. They didn't walk out. This is fine. We're just gonna reset because we're not contesting dragon because both mid and jungle died there. So we're just gonna reset, buy our items. You can also sell your health pod around like your first item mark and you're close to getting either a component or your redemption. Your second item. And then we're just gonna go back mid and we're gonna hover because we see that our Vayne is pinging on his way. So we wanna go here as soon as possible. Press W, make sure it's placed on the ADC that you want. A big part of Milio is his E actually gives movement speed, so if someone is like out of the fight and they don't need a shield, actually E the person who's chasing more in. That's how you know who to prioritize. Just make sure they're not like burning from Ignite or something. Okay, not bad. We got dragon, nobody died, all good. I'm gonna take this because I deserve it. They do have vision, so I'm kind of just hovering in the river a little bit because I know that my Vayne wants to go for he wants to go for the wave. So I'm kind of just chilling, hovering a little bit in between mid and bot. I'm gonna try to get some safety vision around. I can't go super deep, like put wards here because you're an enchanter. I don't have ult for Milio, like I don't have Milio ult, nor do I have flash. So I have to care really hard about getting picked by basically all their CC. We're gonna reset because we have no wards and no control wards. Gonna run mid. And now we kind of want to hover more topside. We put a complete line of vision for bot because Saskio or Vayne is the strongest member to make sure that he's protected. So if someone does try to contest him, he has complete vision and we'll see them right away move. We're gonna ping our way to the jungler, make sure that he knows that we're rotating. We're gonna have to play back. Close the... You can W over the wall actually, and then just make sure to place it on top of them, like just press W again to make sure that it always is targeted. How you can tell that it's targeted, like your Milio W is targeted onto the person, is there's these dots that you'll see from your W. Like if I press right now, you see there's these dots right from the coming from the seal. Depending on who you're putting it on, the dots will connect to the person that you put your W on. That's how you can tell. We're gonna put our control word. Always try to keep one control word either from this bush or this bush. Because while they're walking in, like right here, the support's always gonna ward like right over the wall from here, to see if anybody's bush cheesing. Because warding right here without this vision is very scary. Around the 20-minute mark, this is where you can kind of just start hovering your jungler and playing around them a lot more than your ADC, because your ADC most of the time is just going to sit mid and try to get priority. And giving them solo XP is actually really strong. So we know that they're walking in this way, so I'm going to position this way, getting ready for the stun from the Syndra if she walks in, and going to Milio if needed. Unlucky she wasn't in range. That's okay though. She shouldn't have walked up. We're just going to reset because we have our objective. Whenever you get Baron, you do want to try to push top lane first. Always make sure that's pushed out and then reset. I saw my Yasuo was going for it, so I'm just hovering. I walked up to the top side, hovered him a little bit, and then pressed my B. Okay, dragon's coming up. That is soul for us. We could give it and just utilize our Baron and push, right? But you can also just contest if you really want to go for soul. I think the proper play is to just utilize our Baron. So do like a 1-4 or a 1-3-1. Have our jungler come mid and then have 2 side lanes. And then utilize Baron and give up this dragon because we do have 3. So we don't necessarily need to get soul. But a lot of times in solo queue, people will overplay objectives and they won't listen to your pings for an objective like Baron play. So it's just kind of important to always go for what your team wants instead. Here we're just playing a little bit safe. They're definitely overplaying mid lane, but that's totally fine because we see both our Vayne and our Yasuo going for side wave. So they're gonna get these 2 turrets here while they're overplaying. All our job is to just not die. They're gonna go for this, just hard play. I'm gonna use my Baron to make sure that the minions are getting it. They actually move faster when they have Baron, so if you don't need to hover your bot laner or whoever is in mid lane with you, try to put Baron on, or like pull back and put Baron on your minions so then they move faster. We're gonna preemptively ult this. Unlucky they died. There's a high chance that we're gonna die here, but that's okay. We're gonna Baron or put a redemption on him, and then I'm pretty sure we can play like this. Flashed, Q, and then E. We're gonna flash over the wall here. And we're out. We got a 1-for-1 and we're all good. So the reason why that felt very awkward is because we all rotated, we gave up dragon, but our 2 members did not have the same thought. So Yasuo took all the aggression and died, right? That would be fine if our Viego did not go for dragon. He still went for dragon, so the play was awkward and it just felt bad overall. If he did not do that, then everything would have been fine and we just play for each other. We would have gone top, probably gone like the turret and then walked out. And we probably could have wiped them too because they used multiple stuff for the Yasuo if he played it properly. Okay. So here, we just play a little back, we play safe. Again, we're doing a 1-3-1, this is totally fine. Our job as support is just to always make sure our flanks are warded right here. So always put a ward here, put a ward here. And make sure our ADCs don't die. Try to give them peel as much as possible. W, E, Q. Use your ult. No biggie. The only thing you really have to think about is make sure that your flank is warded and then play for whoever's the strongest. Currently, my top laner is the strongest, so I'm putting all of my utility into him. Not really giving anybody else util unless they're tanking turrets. Yeah. Nice. And you hit him with a GG. Easy. Easy, easy.